Today we're going to be power scaling Classic Sonic, going over how strong he is, but this time with a twist. I'm not going to be using any of his modern appearances like in Sonic Generations or Sonic Forces. I'm only going to be using feats from the Classic Sonic games. So that is Sonic 1, 2, CD, 3 and Knuckles, Mania, and maybe the Game Gear games where applicable. Sonic 4 also isn't included. I'm doing this type of video because I wanted to make the video more fun, because honestly, modern Sonic scaling is kind of stressful and overly complicated. You factor in hyper time. Normally a timeline is just a 3D space with one temporal dimension. That's your past, present and future, all along the same line. And Sonic Forces especially kind of messed up the power scaling of the verse, because now everybody just kind of scales to each other. Think of it like Dragon Ball Super around the Tournament of Power or Naruto during the war arc. The scaling just got kind of weird. Like, you know how in BBS, Krillin and Android 17 would solo most of, if not all of Dragon Ball Z, because they were fighting alongside Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And as for Naruto had pretty decent scaling up until the war arc, where suddenly you had characters like Kakashi keeping up with 7th Gate Guy and KCM to Naruto, or Sakura getting 100 healings and suddenly becoming relative to EMS Sasuke and KCM Naruto. It just got messy. Anyways, let's get into the actual video. So starting with attack potency, Classic Sonic scales anywhere from large planet level to possibly dwarf star level, with feats like breaking the chain that was holding back Little Planet in Sonic CD, which has been calced anywhere from large planet level to dwarf star level. He also beats the Detect robot, which is like a planet destroying doomsday machine, and honestly that's about all you can get for Classic Sonic and the classic era characters without going into modern Sonic scaling. And this is just for base Sonic, by the way. I haven't even gone into the Supersonic scaling yet. So now, yes, you could technically get Classic Sonic higher by scaling him to the output of a single Chaos Emerald, since one Chaos Emerald, the Sonic Unleashed, was able to move a continent. But again, I said I wouldn't be using the modern Sonic games for scaling in this video. So next is durability. His durability should naturally scale to his attack potency, since he can tank hits from characters that are comparable to him, like Metal Sonic and Knuckles. Now speed is where things start getting interesting. Classic Sonic was already at least light speed as early as Sonic CD. Guidebooks stated that Sonic needed to maintain light speed to time travel in Sonic CD, and the extras menu in Sonic Mecha Collection outright states that Sonic can maneuver at light speed. So at bare minimum, Sonic was already light speed during the Classic Sonic games. And keep in mind that Sonic CD takes place before Sonic 2 in the timeline, so Sonic possibly got more powerful during the events of Sonic 2 onwards. You could also argue that he has FTL plus reaction speeds due to being able to react to and dodge Metal Sonic's V maximum overdrive attack, and that move increases Metal speed by 4 times. Sonic can also increase the speed further with techniques like the spin dash and super paylouts. And honestly, that's all the notable scaling you can get for base Classic Sonic, at least without going into modern scaling. Okay, now moving on to Supersonic, and surprisingly there actually isn't that much crazy scaling for him in the Classic Sonic games alone. No Chaos Emeralds having infinite energy statements, no 6 to 7D super dimensional Solaris, no star piercing Eclipse cannon, no immeasurable speed, no infinite speed, no 2 universes fusing. The really busted Supersonic scaling mostly comes from the modern Sonic games. So yeah, the best speed feat you can get for classic Supersonic is maybe MFTL plus travel speed from chasing the Detect robot across space in Doomsday Zone. Like, that's basically all you can get. We know he's faster than base Sonic, but we don't know the multiplier. It's just an unquantifiable amount, like without considering the space travel in Doomsday Zone. So yeah, his attack potency on the other hand is a lot more interesting. When it comes to AP, the only notable thing we can get for Supersonic, only using the Classic Sonic games, is from Sonic Mania. We know that in Sonic Mania, Supersonic was able to defeat the Phantom King, who was empowered by the Phantom Ruby. You know, and keep in mind that this was the real Phantom Ruby, so it's stronger than the prototype one that Infinite used in Sonic Forces. You know, the same Phantom Ruby prototype that Infinite used to casually create a star and an infinite size null space. But hold on, wait, we are not going to be using modern Sonic scaling for this video. So anyways, in Mania, the Phantom Ruby was able to create the Egg Reverie Zone, which seems to be some kind of pocket dimension. We don't really know how large this dimension is, so we can't properly quantify it, but we do know that space and time was being distorted inside the dimension based on the heads-up display and the background effects. So depending on your interpretation, you could argue that the Phantom Ruby reaches, I don't know, maybe possibly universal plus levels of power due to significantly affecting space-time within that pocket dimension, or it could just be basic space-time manipulation hacks that doesn't fully scale to raw energy output. So yeah, personally I think both interpretations are fair, but going with the higher end interpretation, the Phantom Ruby would scale to Universal Plus. The Heavy King was empowered by the Phantom Ruby and Supersonic was able to defeat him. The Chaos Emerald also seemed to protect Sonic from the effects of the dimension itself. So yeah, you could reasonably argue that classic Supersonic reaches Universal Plus levels of power. Even if I do think that's stretching it a little bit, like obviously without touching the modern Sonic games. So overall, this classic Sonic is anywhere from large planet level to possibly dwarf star level with FTL movement speed and potentially FTL plus reaction speed. And Supersonic could possibly be Universal plus levels of power with MFTL plus travel speed, which is honestly kind of insane since we're already considering the classic Sonic games with simple storytelling and not the over-the-top cutscenes and stories of the modern Sonic games. No planetary level God of Destruction, no prototype of the ultimate life form, no time-altering copy merchants, no super-dimensional being, no primordial being in the core of the earth, no aliens from space being powered by one weird energy, no primordial being that controls time and the literal embodiment of the end. Okay, so I just finished recording the script and realized that I forgot to mention Hypersonic. So Hypersonic is powered by the Super Emeralds, which are enhanced versions of the Chaos Emeralds after being armed by the Master Emerald. So naturally, Hypersonic should be significantly stronger than Supersonic. The form also amps Sonic more when it comes to his speed and power compared to his super form. And gameplay wise, we literally know that he has this attack that can like literally delete every single normal enemy from the screen just by double jumping. But then again, there really isn't any way to quantify how much of an increase Hypersonic is compared to Supersonic. So yeah, we just know he's way more powerful and faster. Another thing I forgot to mention was how Knuckles, who we know classic Sonic was superior to at that time, was able to beat Mechasonic Mark II as Mechasonic was amping himself with the Master Emerald, which we know is way stronger than the Chaos Emeralds. I also forgot to mention Sonic Superstars, and as for that game, I haven't really finished it yet, so I don't know the story or what scaling implications it brings. So yeah, this was just a small little update, so you guys won't be reminding me about what I missed in the comments.
I'm so stupid now, yeah, I want the pop. I just have controller and it is. I'm like, I don't control and break. Oh my god.